What's happening, everybody, on this Thursday, August 14th, 2025? My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today as the ramp-up continues in Washington, D.C., as Donald Trump is questioned by the media on D.C. crime and why he is doing it. We also look to actual D.C. residents, not the people who wear makeup on television, to see how they feel about it. Because it turns out real people actually enjoy having safe streets. Of course, all the people who are upset about this live in Northern Virginia and never actually have to deal with it, but that's besides the point. Donald Trump also makes major announcements in terms of Social Security. How many illegals are we actually kicking off of the voter rolls? We're going to talk about all of that. And later in the show, at 3:30, we are going to, I cannot believe I'm even going to say this. Let's, here we go. Let's mark this down. Sentences Kevin never thought he would say. You remember that time my friend got kicked out of the Girl Scouts for protecting little girls? One of the weirdest sentences I've ever said in my entire life. We'll be joined by Alex Bougher, who that happened to. She was a Girl Scout leader, and apparently they don't want her selling cookies anymore because she doesn't like children being groomed. What a sentence. What a sentence to that. Also, Elise Stefanik is getting closer and closer to Kathy Hochul as we see a dramatic dip in Governor Eyebrows' popularity as the nation continues to soar back. But before we get started, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We rock, we roll here on the show. What's happening, everybody? Let's get the live chat up on the screen. MSH says, hey, Kevin, no offense. Where's Will Johnson? He was on for the last hour. That's where he is. It's 3 o'clock, and it's my time now. What's happening, everybody? Jeanette, how are you? AC, Matthew Winterhawk, watching on X. Shout out to everybody watching all over the place. Build AGG. This getting old thing sucks. Yeah, it absolutely does. Our star, what's happening? Nancy, how are you? Oh, another update. Our boy, Staten Island's favorite son, Scott Lobato, confronts the commie Mondani in a deli in Staten Island. And, Scott Lobato did what Scott Lobato does. Hello, Larry and Diane. How are you? How are you? Rocking and rolling. Rockin' and rolling, Moose. What's up? Hey, Jeremy. How are we doing? Let's dive right on in with the breaking news of the hour. Donald Trump just finished up a press conference with... Donald Trump just wrapped up a press conference with the new Social Security administrator, talking about all of the changes that is being done to Social Security. Now, my entire life, I have heard about Social Security running out. It's never going to run out. We're just going to go further and further and further into debt. But why are we doing that? Well, there's several reasons why Social Security continues to go more and more into debt, mostly because a lot of the people who are on Social Security right now did not pay the same amount into it as they did getting out of it. That's how math works. If you paid 35 cents into Social Security in 1979 and now you're getting $4,000 a month back, that's addition, that's subtraction. The problem with Social Security is it always was a Ponzi scheme. But we made these guarantees and now it's time to pay up. It just simply is. Boomers didn't have enough kids. Gen X had even less kids. Millennials had even less kids paying into the system. It's just how it is. But one of the other problems is how many illegal immigrants were on the damn rolls to begin with. Well, according to Donald Trump, they have now removed 275,000 illegal immigrants off Social Security.
No tax on Social Security for our great seniors, okay? So how's that? Not bad, right? No tax on Social Security for our seniors. And to protect our benefits, we've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time. And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong. Biden never kicked anybody off. Everybody joined. And we're carrying out historic deportations, to remove many more illegals committing Social Security fraud. It's the Social Security fraud that was taking place at levels that nobody's ever seen. We cleared 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database over 120 years of age. Think of that. So we had 12.4 million names where they were over 120 years old. Is that right? That's a hell of a statement. I have a feeling, Dan, that's not really really didn't happen, did it? So you have 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database that were over 120 years of age, meaning you were breaking records, because I've never heard of anybody at 125. There were nearly 135,000 people listed who were over 160 years old, and in some cases getting payments. So somebody's getting those payments, and we're after that.
160 years old. The only 160-year-old I know out there is Joe Biden. But look, to be clear, and I want to be very clear, just because that they were on the rolls doesn't mean that they were absolutely getting payments. Now, with that being said, of 12,400,000 people on Social Security over the age of 120 years old, I'm sure some of them still were, because any sort of government system is going to have flaws in it. Maybe you got a son who's got the same name as the father, the payments keep coming in, they're damn sure not going to return them, because, let's be honest, why the hell would you? They're going to keep paying it out. People are going to keep cashing the checks. But, of course, it's the 270,000 illegal immigrants on Social Security that are actively getting the money for sure. That is the biggest problem here. I think I'll be honest, I would say the majority of the people over 120 and over 160 years old it's probably some sort of I don't want to say clerical error, but I mean that they were never physically removed from the database. But it's good that they're cleaning these sorts of things up. It's good that somebody actually cares about this. It's good that at least we are attempting to address the issue. Now, what you'll hear from Democrats, and you're already hearing, is illegal immigrants don't qualify for Social Security benefits. And what I would say is, well, they illegally came into the country, so why should we assume they wouldn't illegally take Social Security benefits? If somebody breaks into your house, don't be shocked when they steal your stuff. I mean, if somebody's offering it to them and there is no penalty for taking it, then why the hell wouldn't they take it? Let's be honest here. But that'll be the line Democrats use. Another line Democrats will use, and President Trump addresses this, and this has been the big topic all week, is the federal takeover in Washington, D.C. Is the fact that we have apparently, and this has upset many a newscaster. This has upset them in a very serious way. One guy from CNN, I mean, this is actually really tough to watch. It really is. And the people over on CNN, well, they don't really know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle it. One reporter from CNN was outside of Union Station. Union Station, of course, is the major train hub for Amtrak and the D.C. Metro. That's where basically everybody comes in from D.C. It is 2 blocks away from the Capitol. You can walk out of Metro. You can walk out of Union Station. Boom. You see the Capitol right there. It's the station that I get off at when I go to Washington, D.C. Well, he saw... You ready for this? He saw a big vehicle outside of Union Station, and this bothered him in a very serious way.
I walk by this train station every single day on my way to work, and I have not seen it like this. You can see a National Guard Humvee behind me, and we've seen, I don't know, Josh, if you can pan over, there are a couple National Guardsmen who are walking across the street over there. We have Humvees basically at each corner of the train station here on a fairly busy Thursday afternoon, and this is what you can expect here in the coming days. Let's pan over there. You can see another Humvee there. This is what you can expect over the next 30 days and possibly a lot longer after that, Jess, because we know just yesterday President Trump said that they are planning to indefinitely extend their federalization of MPD and really ramp up federal law enforcement resources here in the district. It's not just National Guard. We have also seen Homeland Security officers, DEA officers, Park Police. There were vehicles here just a little bit earlier. This is one of the areas of focus that we have heard a lot of concerns about, crime around Union Station, people who are loitering outside. I will tell you, as somebody who walks this route all the time, it does seem like there are fewer people just sort of hanging around.
Oh, right. So you mean when there's more police, vagrants move on. Now, look, I know I'm not a law enforcement officer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and it turns out everyone knew that was going to happen. Union Station, of course, the Penn Station of Washington, D.C., and for my New Yorkers out there, you know about all the beautiful sights and sounds you see when you go into Penn Station. I won't get graphic, but I'm sure you can assume what they are. You know, a lot of really, really dirty people. Some of them have chosen not to wear pants. You know, common stuff that you want to see when you get to your local train station. As a matter of fact, usually the filthier they are, the less clothing they have on. But, Kevin, look, you don't live in D.C. You don't live here. You're right, I don't. I don't live in D.C. And when I go to Washington, D.C., I tend to stay in the more touristy areas. I go to the Capitol. I do business down there. I'm on the National Mall. I don't live in D.C. proper, so what the hell do I know? Well, it turns out Joe Scarborough, the hairdo over on MSNBC, he asked that question and got the answer. And his all-white panel, because, you know, nothing says let's give our opinion on completely black and brown neighborhoods more than rich white people who don't live in them. Joe Scarborough got hit in the face with reality.
The answer to this problem for Democrats.
Also, I just want to be clear. MSNBC, this is way too many people for one panel. Way too many people. You could get rid of at least two of these people and do just fine.
Democrats is not, oh, everything's okay. There's nothing to see here. Move along, move along. Oh, Washington has dropped 24% or whatever in crime. Well, let me give you some other numbers. The Washington Post took a poll at late April, early May. 91% of Washington residents say crime is a problem. 91%. 51%, it is an extremely serious problem. And John Heilman, we've had people before put this in racial terms. And this is, I must say, this is one thing that I think Democrats have gotten so wrong about crime. So wrong about crime. Let me just read the Washington Post here. There are stark divides among lines of race and income in the poll, with black residents and lower income residents significantly more worried about crime than white residents and those with higher incomes. As they were last year, black women are among the most concerned, with 65% saying crime is a very or extremely serious issue, compared with 82% who said the same thing last year.
That's my message to you, Joe Scarborough, because it turns out all the rich white people on TV right there, all of whom don't live in D.C., you know, doesn't really affect them. And as I've said before, it's not the National Mall. It's not D.C. like you think it is, where they have all those ridiculous museums that you were forced to go to in 5th grade. No, it's the city itself. New York City is not safe because Times Square is safe. There's more of New York City than that. Go up to Dyckman. Go up to Dyckman Street. Let me know how that is. Go to East New York. As I told, what the hell's his name? He's running for mayor of New York. He's not going to win. He's not even going to get any votes. But I'll drop you off on Archer Avenue in Queens, outside of the Azura nightclub. Let me know how long you survive. I give it like 15 minutes. That's real New York. Just like the 7th and the 8th Ward in Washington, D.C. is real Washington, D.C. But don't listen to me. I am but a white, straight, Christian, Protestant man. So, naturally, everything is my fault. Why don't we ask, I don't know, like the person who wins the oppression Olympics? She's got everything. She's black. She's Muslim. She's a woman. How does she feel about this?
You hear from city leaders and others that crime is actually down. Are you seeing that?
No, I'm not seeing it. We're seeing carjackings, the violence in the communities. So we were advocating then for the National Guard to come out, but they said there was no need. But think about how many lives could have been saved just having them on the scene.
And Asia says still to this day, she's not heard from one detective about those crimes committed against her family. Now, for Tempe Satcher, another D.C. resident, her son BJ was gunned down in a random drive-by shooting on the way to work 2 years ago, and she does not feel that crime has calmed down.
Just today, a young lady was shot over on 15th Street in Northeast D.C. Does that seem like crime gone down? With all the things that are going on with our president, sending the National Guards out, I don't have a problem with that personally, because if MPD can't do it and they need help, then I'm glad they're able to get the help.
She's glad. The First Lady's glad. But look, all right, that's just two people. What about, as I said, the National Mall? What about in the Capital Region, by the Treasury, by the DOJ? Anybody who went to inauguration knows damn well that they were probably harassed by a vagrant who was freezing to death outside of the Metro. Well, Cara Castronova of Lindell TV, she went down to the National Mall to ask people how they felt about the world in which they live and work.
Are you from the area of D.C. or are you a tourist?
Born and raised.
So you're born and raised in D.C. Are you here are you working in the area or just tourist right now?
I work not far from here.
Where do you, if you don't have to tell me, but where do you work?
I work at a law firm
So you're an attorney?
No, but I assist.
Oh, cool. So what are your thoughts? Today we're talking about D.C. crime rates. Is it safe to live in D.C.? Do you agree with President Trump federalizing for 30 days to sort of stamp down on crime? What are your thoughts?
I agree with it. I was born and raised in the district, and I've never seen the things that I see today with children as young as 3 years old being shot. I mean, where does that happen? I think it's a bad idea to fear what this president is doing. I mean, he actually lives in the city now. I mean, come on. He would be foolish, I think, to ignore things like that. A child, 3 years old, being shot, or people being shot on the bus. I mean, that happened in upper Northwest Washington, D.C. So, I mean, yeah, I think I
People
agree.
in upper Northwest and like the areas, because it's hard finding actual DC residents here in this area. It's mostly like bureaucrats and whatnot. It's not the real DC people.
Yeah.
Do they generally support this? Do they feel like they want crime to be under control, or are they against it?
I do. I believe that most people that live here, that work hard every day and have families, they want the crime rate to be brought under control. They want the situation of, like I said, children being shot, seniors being assaulted. They want that under control. Okay. And I believe that this is the best thing that has happened to this city in a very, very long time, for the president to take control and, of the police, of the crime. I think it's a great idea. I really, really do.
A great idea. The best thing to happen to this city in decades. Because it turns out that woman who works on the National Mall in the Capital Region, and that black Muslim woman we saw sitting on the bench, and the other black lady with the giant glasses, it turns out they live in the real world. And they have real world problems. Their driver doesn't take them from their front door to the front door of their office. Their doormen don't shoo the vagrants away. They don't get that sort of privilege. But remember something, everyone. Remember, when we're addressing crime in Washington, D.C., checks notes, What about January 6th?
My advice on this, as a punditry matter, would be, well, let's see where we are at the end of 30 days. How much progress have they made? And then Congressman can make an assessment at that point about whether this is working, and maybe it would help to extend it a little bit.
I guess I'm old enough, Scott, to remember when you were appalled, as the rest of us were, on January 6th, when he wouldn't.
Because January 6th happened, should we not enforce the law today?
Excuse me.
Do you want murders today?
Let me finish, Scott. I know
January 6th equal no enforcement of mercy. This is a silly argument.
No, let me finish before you make a point about a silly
Well,
argument.
it'll be silly, but go ahead.
What's silly is you sitting down with Mitch McConnell over Chick-fil-A and lamenting how Donald Trump was putting all of you, including Mitch McConnell, in harm's way. But I guess now you're so.
I wasn't in harm's way. I was in Louisville.
No, your then boss, your friend Mitch McConnell certainly was. But now
January 6th was a bad day.
Can I finish?
Murders are also bad.
Can I finish?
I want murders solved.
Can I finish?
Just let her finish.
Scott's gonna.
Well, if she wants to come out here and take pot shots at me, I'm not going to allow it.
I know.
I still don't know who this woman is or why she's on every television show. Who are you? She's on every show. And I swear on everything imaginable. I think Democrats, particularly Washington, D.C. Democrats, I don't know if they can do anything without mentioning January 6th. Like, if they go out to a restaurant, are they like, hey, I'll have the chicken piccata with a side of January 6th? Can they do anything? When they're making love, do they just, like, imagine January 6th in their heads? Like, it is wild. They can't do anything without mentioning January 6th. Yes, J6, bad. Also, 91% of people living in your city thinking crime is a big deal. Also bad. But remember, guys, these are the media elites. And they wouldn't be where they are if they didn't know what they were doing. They wouldn't be where they are if they didn't get to ask the President of the United States the questions that matter to the American people. Remember that, everybody. They're there because they're the best at their job. So, in a press conference surrounded by how we are going to reform Social Security, some dumbass decided to ask President Trump, with all of the military being diverted, aren't you worried about terrorism?
Crime. Are you concerned at all that some federal officers that are helping D.C. police might be being pulled away from other high priority assignments?
Like what? Like what?
Terrorism, for example.
Oh, really? Terrorism? They'll stop terrorism as part of what they're doing right now. No. The soldiers that we have, first of all, we have plenty of them, long beyond what that you have here. We're just using a very small force. You know, in Washington, D.C., they have thousands of police. They have a lot of police, but the police weren't allowed to do their job. We have a lot of great ones, and you have some that weren't so good, to be honest, but they weren't allowed to do their job. But now they are allowed to do their job, and essentially it's only 2 days, but you look at the numbers already, they're dropping. And no, they're not being pulled off for anything.
Mr. President, as you know, there were some very concerning reports about crime statistics. Police are manipulating crime data to downplay crime in D.C. Will the administration release its own crime statistics to counter their misinformation? And will those individuals who are intentionally misrepresenting crime data and fudging the books, like you said, be penalized for endangering the public?
They are under investigation right now. They are giving us phony crime stats, just like...
Because as we reported yesterday, a police commander in Washington, D.C. was put on paid leave. Of course, he's got to be on paid leave because, you know, unions. Turns out we can't just fire anybody in America. We have to put them on paid leave for 6 months, and then we've got to go through arbitration, and then we've got to worry about a buyout because, you know, union contracts. We can't just fire shitty workers. We've got to keep them stringing them along for 3 years. Hi, Teachers Union. Good to see you. A police commander was put on paid leave for fudging the crime statistics. So not only are we knocking down felony burglary to petty larceny to criminal mischief, therefore bringing down the crime statistics, but he was fudging them on top of that. But what about terrorism? Look, I want to be clear. I am a 9/11 Republican, okay? Radical Islamic terrorism has basically shaped my entire life post 9/11. 7/7 bombings. Well, I guess really every time something blows up anywhere around the world. The average person is far more worried about being raped on the subway, or being set on fire by a vagrant, or having their pocket picked, or just getting the shit beaten out of them, than they are about Mohammed bin Bazir from Syria coming over and blowing up a subway. People's day-to-day lives are a lot more impacted by petty crime. They're a lot more worried about stepping on a heroin needle when they go on a beach in Los Angeles than they are about being blown up by some 8th century goat herder from Islamabad. Okay? I mean, think about it. Do you walk out of the house every day and think to yourself, oh shit, sounds like something could blow up really soon? Or are you a little bit more concerned with, I don't know, watching a homeless man take a dump in a clear plastic bag on the A train? I'm a little bit more worried about the second thing. You know why? Because I've seen it twice. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And the rest of the world is starting to catch up to this. The rest of the country is starting to realize that maybe crime might be a big deal. What a thought. Immigration, crime, the economy. It's not complicated, guys. And Harry Anton makes that very clear.
Yeah, I think that Democrats have to get it around their heads that Americans are far more hawkish on crime than they think that they are. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval handling crime. Where was he last year? He was way underwater at minus 13 points, views of term number 1. But look at where he is now. He's on the positive side of the ledger. He's on the positive side at plus 1 point. Americans view Trump far more favorably now on crime than they did a year ago. And while this polling doesn't take into account what's exactly happening in D.C. right now, it does take into account what happened in Los Angeles, what's happened earlier this year. And Americans, for the most part, actually view Trump favorably. Crime is one of Trump's best issues. It's one of the reasons why he wants to talk about crime, because it favors him.
It will be very interesting when you can see polling that has what's happening and rolling out right now settling in to see
if it moves
what the impact really is. Because
I get it. Interchangeable blonde lady that works at CNN. So this polling is favorable for Trump. So we've got to wait longer to get more polling. That way we can see if it gives us the answer we want.
it's been a lot.
By the way, those pants are hideous.
A lot of messaging is
Yes.
what we've seen. Compare Trump to Biden in handling of crime, please.
Yeah, okay. I think this sort of gives the game away here because Donald Trump is like Air Jordan towering over Joe Biden when it comes to their handling of crime. Look, in 2024, look at where Biden's net approval was on crime. Way underwater there at minus 26 points. It was one of Biden's worst issues. Granted, pretty much every issue was one of Biden's worst issues. And again, look at where Donald Trump is. Way, way, way above Joe Biden. What is that? That's 27 points. So Americans vastly prefer Donald Trump's approach to crime than they did to Joe Biden's. And again, I think it gets back to the point that Americans are far more hawkish on crime than a lot of Democrats want to admit.
That's because Democrats can't exist without crime. Because if you keep people scared and you keep them in their homes, they're going to need government assistance. Need any more proof of that? Look at the COVID era. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second with Alex Bougher. Here's a sentence I absolutely never thought I would say. My friend who got kicked out of the Girl Scouts for protecting little girls from groomers. That's real. It turns out if you live in Bergen County, New Jersey, you can't sell Girl Scout cookies if you don't allow your children to be indoctrinated. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Let me know where you're watching from. Wherever you watch it on X, you watch it on Facebook, Rumble. Hit that repost button. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second. First, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Alrighty, guys, we are back. This is definitely one of the weirdest stories I think I've ever brought to you guys. I never thought I would have to say this sentence, but the Girl Scouts of America have lost their ever-loving mind, in this host's opinion, mostly because of their insane woke policies. But recently, they just threw out a leader in the Girl Scouts. I still can't believe I'm talking about Girl Scouts and not talking about the cookies. But please welcome the chair of the Bergen County, New Jersey Moms for Liberty, and apparently a former Girl Scout leader, my friend Alex Bougher. Alex, how are you?
I'm very good. It's been a crazy day, but I'm doing great. And I also can't believe that we're on here talking about this.
I know. If Alex looks familiar, it's because she's the only person who's been on Fox News more today than Pam Bondi. Also Pam Bondi's doppelganger. Apparently, turns out Fox has a type. But so this is wild. You got thrown out of the Girl Scouts, a volunteer organization, by the way, because of your politics. Why don't you tell everybody what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's just really crazy. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to do it, frankly. I've been a Girl Scout leader for 7 years. My middle daughter, since Daisy's and up, I have a wonderful troop of 31 girls. It's pretty much stayed the same. They're just like a wonderful, rambunctious outdoor bunch of girls. And they're absolute sweethearts. They go play games with the seniors at the senior center. They sing them Christmas carols. They bake them goods. They go hiking. They help the community. And they're Girl Scouts. They're like exactly what Girl Scouts are and what they're supposed to be. And that's how we treat our troop. And, that's why I started my Girl Scout troop, is because, it's about helping community, God, and country. And that's what it was founded on. And that's what it's supposed to be. And instead, I pretty much got, fired, if you would. You get fired from a volunteer job for, upholding those values and morals in my own hometown. So basically, it started a few years ago. I really hate to reference the COVID years, but the COVID years. And we saw that some troops were taking their troops to their children, like young children, like 5-7 years old, to BLM marches. And we tried to reach out to them. We're like, this is crazy. We ended up calling Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey. And we said, what is happening here? This is really a violent, get together. And there's a lot of hate there. And it's not appropriate for children. And they said, no, it's part of diversity and they're being inclusive. And we don't see any problem with it. I probably should have resigned right then and there. However, again, I have a wonderful troop and we do great things together. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to shield them from this stuff. And we won't do those events, clearly. A few years ago, there was a church in town that decided to invite a trans speaker. So a boy who was identifying as a girl. She was 13 years old. And she was going to talk to minors in this church and talk to them about transitioning and what they may be feeling. And there's ice cream and dancing and pizza and all ages welcome. And the church was the church that the town holds their Girl Scout meetings at. And at the time, there wasn't any flags up. Like, you wouldn't have known this was going on. And we said, what is happening here? Like, why is this church allowing this? This is a completely inappropriate event. Why is the town allowing it? And this shouldn't be allowed. We tried talking to the church and they said, no, we're all inclusive here. We're all gender affirming here, which they have on their big sign, and we're going to allow it. It was shortly thereafter that the pride flag started to go up. And I no longer could host or I couldn't bring the girl troop, the Girl Scout troop to this specific church. But the problem is that's where all the town events are. Mm-hmm. So line dancing or like whatever event that they're putting together for the girls, they have at this church. So I flat out just said to my troop, listen, this is not what Girl Scouts is about. I will not bring my troop here. If you'd like to sign up separately and go, that's up to you, but we will not be doing that. And the troop just stayed. We ended up having our meetings at school or parks or pavilions, and we stayed away from that. And so what ended up happening after that was some of the newer Girl Scouts started going, and a lot of the parents were complaining. They were saying, Alex, I know you stand up for this stuff. There's a really bad flag there now. And they sent me a picture, and it was the progressive pride flag. And so it represents, the trans, non-binary. It's got pedophile colors in there. It's got all these things. Why should children have to walk under this flag and be present in front of this flag? I'm talking 5-year-olds and up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like we're talking, we're not talking like high schoolers. We're talking children, like
children,
actual
I
children.
also don't think that flag is appropriate. Like, honestly, you should be an adult to make those decisions. But yes, I'm talking about small children.
But the people out there that are like, oh, it's not happening, or it's only sex ed. No. Like we're talking about children, like almost like freshly in school children.
Yeah. I mean, we start in kindergarten. They're daisies, right? They're earning their little petals on their outfits, and they're quite innocent. And, instead of teaching them about beautiful things in life and helping our community and their country, they have to stare at this flag, which represents, what sexual preference you are, right? And one of them is extremely inappropriate because it has to do with minors. So actually, one parent even said to the wife, you're going to pull our daughter out of Girl Scouts immediately. Yeah. I'm not going to be a part of any organization that this is where they're holding their events. So we asked again. They refused to take the flag down. I put a post up and I said, why is it so important for this church?
The church.
They need to have this.
That's
right.
Like, I feel like that's like an extra level of like absurdity. Like, okay, Girl Scouts, pride flag in a church. It's like the worst game of Clue that's ever existed.
Right. Like, what doesn't belong here, right?
Yeah.
Out of all of these things, what doesn't belong? So it was just like absolutely crazy. That day my phone was blowing up, and I'm like, all right, we got to do something about this. So I actually wrote a post. I called out the mayor of the town. I'm like, what are we doing about this? Because I understand it's a private church. However, it's happening in our town, and it's happening to our children. And it's our job as safe adults to protect those children. We see something, we say something. Don't we teach our children that? And yet these adults aren't doing anything. So I said, why is this church keeping this flag up? This is what it represents. It's inappropriate for Girl Scouts. And I called out the mayor. I said, what are we going to do about this? It pretty much blew up. It went viral. People were very upset. They were asking the same questions, like actually asking me, like, why are your kids even in Girl Scouts? Like, it's turned into something completely different than what it used to be.
It's so bad because look, I was a Boy Scout growing up, and I absolutely loved it.
I see that.
It was great. Like, yes. I didn't have brothers and sisters and stuff. So, a lot of us, we went out and had fun in the woods. And I did a whole thing about when they started letting girls into the Boy Scouts. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, let's put 15-year-old boys and girls alone in the woods. And what could go wrong? I mean, look, we spent most of our time in completely unsupervised. Like, we were safe. We weren't like roaming around. We thought we were in the wilderness. Really, we were in like, a campsite off the Long Island Expressway. We had a better chance of running into a gas station than running into like any sort of dangerous prey. We thought we were in like, thought we were on like, St. Victoria Island in Alone on the History Channel. Really, it was basically a glorified park, but it was a blast. Like, and once they started doing this, I don't know about the Girl Scouts because obviously they have the greatest fundraising motif in history, but the Boy Scouts filed bankruptcy 2 years ago because it turns out not the best idea in the world.
Definitely not. Not enough supervision out there, and some pretty awful things.
So you got a call recently about this, and this is where it kind of if there's any pro bono lawyers out there, if there's anybody paying attention and wants to make national news, I may have a client for you.
So this is where it gets interesting. So a few months goes by. This is a few months ago. And, let's rewind for a second. Our town service leader actually went on the church page and said, what this leader posted is not what Girl Scout stands for, and we support you, and we're all affirming, like all this stuff, like just kind of, kissing the church's butt, if you would. And I flat out put, no, do not speak for all of the Girl Scouts, because not all of the Girl Scouts are okay with this. And I guess I might have annoyed her a little bit. So apparently somebody made a complaint to the Girl Scouts saying that my social media posts were not appropriate and violate the code of conduct with Girl Scouts. So I got an email saying we need to have a phone conversation about your role in Girl Scouts. And right away I'm like, here we go, because I've done this for 7 years and this has never happened before. So this is it. And I had a conversation with them today. And it was 2 specific women that I had to talk to, because I actually tried to call yesterday and they were like, no, you have to talk to these 2 specific women. I'm sure it's like their diversity, whatever.
It was definitely a lawyer and their DEI coordinator.
Yes, I'm sure. It was 2 women, and yeah, the other one wouldn't actually talk in the background.
And then that was the lawyer.
That was the lawyer. And so I said, okay, ladies, how are you? I had to take an hour off of work to do this phone call. What can I help you with? I'm actually trying to book rooms for this year's meetings with my girls. Like, how can I help you? And they said, well, we're here to tell you today that the council has decided that you will no longer be a leader for the Girl Scouts. And on top of that, you're actually not allowed to be a member as well. So we will refund you the money that you spent, because you pay to be a volunteer, which is, wild to me. And your daughter's dues. Oh, and you won't be going on the Frost Valley camping trip that not only do you run your troop there, but now I'm supposed to be a guardian for another little girl as well. So that little girl will lose her trip as well. So I said, okay, can you tell me why you've come to this decision? And she said, well, you've violated the code of conduct for your social media posts. And I said, okay, which post was it? Could you tell me exactly which one? And she said, no, I'm not allowed to get into that with you. And I said, so you're firing me, but you can't tell me why? And she said, well, I can't really fire you because you don't work for us because you're a volunteer. And I was like, oh, okay, you're right. You're correct. I actually pay to volunteer, to take time off of work and not make money at work so that I can spend time with these kids and make their life better. It was just like so surreal. So I said, is it that you disagree with my politics? And that's why I'm no longer a leader, because Girl Scouts has really changed. And she said, I'm not allowed to comment on that. I'm like, okay.
Right.
That would be a yes.
If the answer had been no, she would have said it.
Right. I'm like, that's a yes. So I said, okay, I would like to speak to someone who can tell me which social media post it was. And she said, no, I'm not allowed to do that. You could probably, if you want your lawyer or somebody to contact, they can let them know what it was and start those proceedings. But I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. You can't tell me why I can't be a leader anymore. And now I have to call my awesome lawyer up and have him get involved in this nonsense. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So she's like, well, now that you said the word lawyer, I'm not even allowed to talk to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, so we can't discuss this any further. She said, yes. I said, you could have done this in an email. I didn't need a day. I didn't need an hour off of work for this to lose more money for the Girl Scouts. So I said, so to be clear, no, you're not allowed to talk about this. No one in Girl Scouts is allowed to talk about this. She said, yep, now that you said that, that's what the deal is. 15 minutes later, I'm running cheer camp at my daughter's school for the fall season. And a friend shows me an email that the service leaders in our town sent to all of the Girl Scouts and leaders saying that I've been let go by the council. They actually put my name in there and they don't say why. So now she's like trying to make it seem like it's something like awful or something to the whole town. And which I messaged her. I was like, just so you know, you're not even allowed to do this. And this is kind of like bullying and like,
Yeah,
this is so wrong.
it's slander. It's
slander.
That's exactly what it is. It's basically they're just muddying up your name. But because by not saying what you said, they then leave open to interpret. Well, what could it be? Because look, let's be clear, everybody. It's North Jersey. There's a few people in that area who feel the same way politically than Alex does. Okay. If you've seen The Sopranos, it's right in that particular area. A little bit.
It's our town.
Little bit. So, I don't know how Tony voted. I don't know if he could vote, but I have a feeling everybody on that show, except for Bruce Springsteen's guitar player. So there's a lot of Republicans there. So it turns out if they had said it was over politics, they would have then gotten reciprocating emails letting them know, no, that's not going to fly. And look, it's so funny because there are so many people out there that like wish that they could be like either the Little League coach or they could do all these things. You run the cheerleading camp. You are a Girl Scout leader. You are the Bergen County Moms for Liberty chair. I think you're going to replace Katy Perry on the next trip to space. Like, do you got anything else planned going on?
I run Bible club.
All right. So I guess look, I mean, you are the quintessential community leader. And to not have that for, young kids, it is wild to see how you're good enough to run the Bible school and you're good enough to run the cheer camp and you're good enough to run Moms for Liberty, but you're not good enough to run the Girl Scouts, which just, it is so frustrating because, like I said, as a Boy Scout, and I want to be clear, all my Scoutmasters are all Republicans. I still talk to all of them, the ones that are alive, and they're all very proud of the loud majority. But, for that to happen in something like this, you wonder why these organizations end up going broke.
I mean, listen, there probably are going to. Frankly, I had actually told my troop that this was the last year we were going to sell cookies, the last year, because they are so bad for you, all the chemicals that are in them.
Yeah,
I'm like, we're like Maha moms. We can't be selling this.
I can attest to your Maha credentials. I want to be clear. Alex and I are friends, and I've been in her kitchen before, and there is not a single item in that kitchen that you've ever heard the brand name of. It took me like 9 minutes to find sugar, and it was a different color than I've ever seen before. But it's
organic coconut sugar.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. It was delicious, but I don't know what the hell.
We don't even use it. It's for guests.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna leave like 4 packs of Splenda in like the back of the cabinet for when.
Hide it.
I gotta hide it, and I don't want it to go anywhere. And it's just like, and I want to be clear. You and your husband, 2 of my favorite people in the world, but your kids are awesome.
Thank you.
I ran into them so I think I stayed over to watch like a Steelers game or something. It was like football, and I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning. And you have the only kids that wake up and eat fruit in the middle of the night. Like there's no Cheetos, there's no Doritos, there's no Nerds. And I was like, are you cutting a mango? It's 3:15 in the morning.
Oh, yes. That must have been my middle one. She loves
Yes, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, who can get their kids? I mean, I'm 36 and people can't get me to eat my fruits and vegetables. So, it is so wild. And look, I don't know what your plans are after this for the Girl Scouts, whether you're just going to drop it or take it as far as it could possibly go, like I would. But,
we are alike in many ways.
We are a lot alike. So there may be something. So somebody over at the Article 3 project, I'm sure there's a lawyer over there that could jump on Alex's case here. But look, Alex, we got to wrap up real quick. Believe me, I could do an hour-long show with you. But tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you. I've been trying to get you on X more because X is the place to be. That's where this is right
I've
now.
been trying to pick up X a little bit more. I don't know. Listen, when I am 45 years old. When I went to school, we had typewriters. So the fact that I can do
get the hell out of here.
No, we had typewriters. We did not have computers.
Oh my God.
No, I swear to God.
By the way, so many people are going to hear you're 45 and be so pissed, like me, because you look younger than I do, which is crap.
Well, that's what happens when you eat mangoes at 3 a.m.
That you know what? Then I'm on my way to the store. So,
okay.
So, where can everybody find you? And you've got a big event coming up too.
Oh my gosh, we have so many big events coming up. We don't have the official
All right, I guess we'll have
thing
to.
allowed out yet.
I guess we'll have to wait for that.
Let's just say there's something really awesome happening August 28th at Liberty State Park.
That would be at the Statue of Liberty for all the.
That would be in front of the Statue of Liberty
for all the non tri-state area people.
You want to make sure that you're in front of the Statue of Liberty because it's pretty large there. You could be in front of Ellis Island. You could be in front of like whatever. So, and let's just say we're going to have some really awesome people that are going to be standing for parental rights there. So stay tuned for that. I shall actually be releasing that in a few days. So just stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, if you need me, I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am on X. It's Alexandra Bougher, Moms for Liberty, Bergen County, New Jersey. And if you need help, you want to start a chapter, you want to run for the Board of Ed, school is starting. You do not have to do any of these things. You don't have to send your kid back to school if you don't want to. You can homeschool. You don't have to vaccinate. You don't have to feel pressured to do anything. They don't need to learn about sex. And I can't even say the awful things that they're teaching the third graders. There are opt-out forms. We have them on our website. It is free to be a member. Just sign up and everything is there. Please reach out to me. I answer my DMs usually pretty quickly. www.momsforliberty.org, and you'll find everything there.
Guys, if you're in North Jersey, or if you're in Jersey at all, and you're not getting involved in politics, Alex is the best person to start out with. And yes, I mean that including Mike Crispy, which I have to throw that little dig in there because, he's not my favorite person from New Jersey anymore. But the audience will appreciate that.
We love him.
We absolutely put up with him.
Yeah.
No, I can say that. But Alex, thank you so much for joining us. And I will absolutely look. I'm not saying Girl Scout cookies aren't bad for you. I'm just saying I'm going to keep getting them because they're delicious.
But are they?
They are, though. Look, I want to be clear. I love what Bobby Kennedy is doing. If he starts coming for the Girl Scout cookies, there is going to be an uprising in this country that he's never seen before. I may lead it. I may not. I'm just saying. But, the Thin Mints to the sky. Those are probably the worst ones.
Well, listen, if Girl Scouts actually cares about the health and well-being of children, they will change the formula of their cookies and make them healthier for everybody.
Oh, well. I support 99% of the things you do. Alex Bougher, thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Alrighty, guys. We will be right back. Alrighty, guys. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out wherever it is you may be watching from. We actually got a big Facebook audience today. It's probably because all the Moms for Liberty from New Jersey are watching. So shout out to all those North Jersey moms out there. Alex Bougher running North Jersey, guys. Make sure you guys give Alex a follow, or Bergen County Moms for Liberty. Once again, if you guys want to get involved, go to momsforliberty.org, start a chapter where you live. You guys know this show will always be about activism before commentary, so get involved. Join the movement. Giddy up. Let's go. Before we get to the last story of the day, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to mypillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's mypillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's mypillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, real quick, we got one story left. Scott Lebedo, you guys know Scott, the king of Staten Island, decided to have a little bit of fun at the expense of Kami Mandani when this afternoon he confronted him in a deli on Staten Island. Deli's on Staten Island, the best place on planet Earth. And Scott did what Scott does. Luckily, whoever cut this video edited out Scott's well-known Staten Island language.
They come to communists. The communists. Sorry, I want something to eat. I would like something to eat. Let me tell you something, man. You are not welcome in this island. October 7th, Jew hater. You fucking Jew hater piece of shit. Hey, Mr. Man Dandy, can I talk to you? This is my island. You're not welcome here. Excuse me. You hate Jews. You hate this country. You hate this big shot full of Tom Holman. Go home. And they can hear us from the outside. Yo, man, baby, with your fake smile, your smug smile, you know you're scared. Your balls coming to this island.
Let me get Timmy for you.
Yeah.
God bless Amendment 1. Go.
Out of the street. Go back to where you came from. We don't want you here on Staten Island. He sucks. Commie. He's a commie. Go back home. Bandani's a commie.
Of course, we love Staten Island here. They're the other island, the second island. But, you know, I can say that because I'm from the long one. Guys, it's 4 o'clock. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Do me a favor and head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. You guys can use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. If you appreciate the work we do here, please do head on over there. You can click that donate button at the very top of the screen to support the work that we do. Guys, Pete Santilli is coming up next right here on this network. Until tomorrow, everybody, stay loud.